Hello and welcome back to the Empowered Podcast. I would let my next guest introduce herself.
So my name's Cassie. I'm 41. I'm a mum of three. I'm divorced. I document my life on social media to hold myself accountable for my actions.
So, first of all, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my God, thank you so much for phoning me.
I
Genuinely.
have seen how busy you are at the moment and how much good you're doing in community, and I have seen that and I felt it and I appreciate it, so thank you. I want you to speak about anything that you feel able to for you as a woman, for yourself. And also anyone watching this will get so much. We all do, even from like your Facebook posts and everything every day.
If one person resonates with something, I know I'm not going to I can't save anyone. I say this all the time. You know, what I do in the community, I'm not a recovery service and I'm not going to save you. I'm in recovery and I'm healing.
And that's really important for you.
Yeah, because I can't take on recovery side of things because my recovery is still, not that I'm drinking and stuff, but my recovery is still up and down. It only takes one thing in the day for me to just be like, I want a glass of wine.
And you've got to manage that, haven't you?
Yeah.
You can't manage other people.
You can't, and I've been in a recovery group and it just doesn't work, and it doesn't work when you're an empath as well, because as an empath I could never work in a job where it's with vulnerable people and I hold my hands up, fair play to anyone who can work in a job that requires a level of empathy and vulnerability and allowing someone to feel safe enough to disclose things to you. I couldn't do that and work on myself at the same time because I don't ever say I've got my life together. People go to me all the time, they stop me and they go, oh, and I go, I'm just a crank. I am a crank. But I am turning my pain into power. And I'm giving other people hope. People just need hope. I followed someone that... So I started my recovery 2.5 years ago, and I followed everyone. Everyone, like a sheep. Everyone that everyone else was following, I was following them. I was going on everyone that everyone else was going on. Just being one of the, oh, I'm here, Instagram versus reality. Yeah, you want to be, you want to be in with the in crowd type of thing. And you lose yourself. I don't want that to happen ever again. So I have to put boundaries in place. I'm not a recovery service.
So when you say about recovery, what got you to the space, your earlier life, up until the place where you were taking part in self-harming behaviours, and then got you to the recovery?
So I didn't fit in ever. I went for like your induction day in senior school. I got tethered. I had short back and sides. I wore rock ball to play football. I had those gold rings from Wales, the big massive sovereigns.
Oh, I remember that.
I was like a proper tomboy. So I didn't really fit in. So to fit in, you start drinking and you start smoking to be with like the cool kids. You don't want to be a clever kid.
You just want to be accepted, don't you?
Yeah, and you want to be accepted really quickly. So it kind of started in junior school, but you're just doing your own thing in junior school. It's not a big, massive thing. And I'm also grateful that there was no such thing as social media and mobile phones back in the day, because I lived a life with my granddad of going out, and we went and, we went Blackberry Pickham. We went to the ducky, we went the pond, we went fishing. My granddad always took us all out all the time. There was quite a lot of us as like cousins growing up, all similar ages, and my granddad to take it out all day. So it was never a need to fit in as a child till you hit senior school, and then it's kind of like you're in with the in crowd. And I was never... Someone messaged me a while back who we went to school with and was like, I'm a little tiny bit confused, you grew up and you were well off and you did it. And I was like, but that doesn't... Just because I was. So I've got a sister who's 10 years older than me. I'm 41, she's 51. She moved out at quite a young age and done her own thing, went to uni and stuff like that. So I basically grew up as an only child. My mum worked and my dad worked.
So it was just you and your sister over here?
Yeah, I've got just me and my sister, but she moved out when she was 16.
Right.
So, and she kind of stayed with my nan growing up quite a lot, so I was always like an only child. Right. So I got spoilt. My mum and dad had fantastic jobs. We didn't go to Butlins and where all my mates went, because they were like, that's where all the scruffs went. They went to like caravans, but they all had a laugh and they'd come home and they met loads of people. And I went to like Spain, I went all over the world, but I went on adult holidays. Right. So I sat around the pool all day.
So you were more around adults than kids?
And when you don't fit in, you kind of have to grow up quick. And for me, it was being annoying, but it wasn't annoying, as I know on now at a later, like when I was 41, I got diagnosed with ADHD, which makes complete sense of why I was a nuisance. But also, the last couple of years, I've focused loads on where the trauma comes from, where it stems from. So for me, there was lots of drinking and stuff going on when we were growing up, so it was quite normal. And I grew up around adults, so...
And what you see is what you do.
Everyone is a product of their environment. Show me your friends, I'll tell you what you are. Surround yourself with 5 bums, you'll be the 6th. Surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 7th. Yeah. And it's kind of like that in life. Yeah. And I just grew up in that kind of environment. And don't get me wrong, I went without nothing.
Yeah. But it was stuff.
Presents instead of presents. Yeah. And I didn't understand that fully until not long ago. I had to take my middle cub to the doctors because he had really bad anxiety. And my mum was saying it was all other things, it's this. And I was like, it's anxiety. I'm telling you right now, it's anxiety. Because it's me. And I know through the marriage with their dad was domestic violence, very abusive, controlling, narcissistic. You know, I didn't know whether you were coming or going. So it's just, when we went to the doctors, I was like, it's definitely, and I was like, mate, you're 17. Why have you got anxiety and depression? I'm not taking it away from you, but life, you go to college a couple of days a week, you've got a little Saturday job. Life is, life's not life right now. And I was like, you got everything growing up, because even though I was an absolute raging alcoholic, in the end, they went without nothing. Yeah. I never got nothing from the father or their family. It was my family and me. So they went without nothing. So I was like, you went without nothing? Same as me, you got everything.
What was it?
And he went, you bought us presents. And all we wanted was your presents. And I just sat in the doctor's waiting room, and I was like, oh, everything I said I was never going to be, I am. And that was the turning point for me. And that's when I went, that wasn't even that long ago. And that was when I completely went into like, where's it stemmed from? What's the damage I've done with my children? How am I going to heal this trauma? What's making me like this?
That's quite a wise thing to say for a young man.
So me and my middle cub never really bonded, because at the time of the pregnancy, the domestic violence in the relationship, we'd moved in together, we got married, we'd moved in together, and I got pregnant with our 3rd. So it goes from living in your parents where there's people there to living in a home where there's no one there. So it levelled up. So I was a raging lunatic whilst pregnant with him, because we were just constantly at each other, constantly. So when I was pregnant, I got diagnosed with prenatal depression. Right. And then when I had him, I got the worst bout of postnatal depression, because when I had my first one, I lost loads of weight. I was going out with my mates all the time. My mum was always -1. You were having a laugh. I'd lost loads of weight. You're getting your life back with your mates. I was only 21. Yeah. to get pregnant again, and it's like, I've just lost all this weight, I'm gonna have to start again. We got the house and everything together, and then it just kind of, yeah, it takes its toll. It really does. And then them stories could, then that it can go on and on and on. What happened? But when I had Nick, I couldn't go near him. I just didn't have that bond. It was weird, and my mum kind of took over the lead of being mum. So me
It's
and
fascinating though, isn't it? Because you're a mum to children, but you're a different mum to each child.
Yeah.
Because you change with
I
each
understand now why I never had. So I've only just got a relationship. Out of all my children, I thought I'd never get a relationship with my middle cub because we were so far apart, and we've always been so far apart our whole.
Does he speak about it the same as?
But yeah, and he's dead proud of me, but it's like, he was the first one to come home. He came home, he knocked at my door and was like, I want to come home, like, I want to spend, and I was just like, oh my God. And our bond now is so strong, but I know now why I pushed him away for so long, because he mirrored the beauty that I've got, because Nicholas is me. Right. He's an empath. He gives the most beautiful advice. He's got the most beautiful aura. He's soft, he's gentle. He says it how it is.
Yeah.
He's got no filter, and I love him, and like he stands up for himself, like genuinely. Like, the improvement since he's came home and we've healed together is phenomenal, and it's as hard as it's been, where I've been really in a bad way the last couple of months, and I've had to get him kind of counselling on the side.
Yeah.
It's made us stronger, and now I see the reason that I couldn't be around him was because he mirrored what I wanted to be, and I was so dark, and I was so broken, and I was so scarred up.
So do you two have these conversations?
Yeah, I'm so open and honest with Nicholas.
Because you're both similar. You have that level.
I'm so open and honest. Like, I talked to him today, and I was like, I've got a podcast today, and he was like, oh, fantastic. I was like, I've manifested it, mate, it's happening. And he was like, amazing. I was like, but mate, she's going to ask me questions, and I don't know. I'm petrified. I'm going to swear. I'm petrified. I know. I'm petrified of this. And he was like, well, just take a second, breathe, and then answer.
I don't take a second.
I was like, no, I'm going to answer the question before she's even asked it, because I already know what the question is, because we've got like this gift. We know what is going to come out. Me and Nick talk for hours. We go clothes shopping together. He was so within himself, and I'm not blaming my parents, because they grew up in a generation of men, women.
Yeah. Men
go with women go with men.
Yeah, very like traditional stuck. This is
men dress like men. You do this, you go and get a job 9 to 5, you have a family, and that's the whole point of life.
Instructions on what you
and it's like, I done that, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Where did that get me? Absolutely nowhere. Because you're following the grain. No one got anywhere following the grain.
Do you feel like you were, I'm trying to put this into words, when you were born?
Yeah.
We were talking before about being in the womb and how things like post-traumatic stress, and you know, you've got epigenetics where your DNA can change due to the environment that you're in, like the nature versus nurture. I totally agree with you that the environment can change, you know, express your genes.
Anyone who comes, so it wasn't until I'd done a freedom project I understood where the trauma starts, so when we were talking before. So it starts in your womb. It's already in you. Yeah. It's in the egg. It's what to say, what's in the cat's in the kitten. Yeah. So it was my nan, my mum, my nan's nan, my nan's nan, my nan's nan's nan. And it's all generational. And that's all in our that's all in our DNA. So when I done the Freedom Project for domestic violence, which by the way, I left my ex-husband 12 years ago, and I've only just started it, and I started it and then dropped out in the third.
Did it feel like it was too much?
It was too much because of the 1% club. It spiraled so fast, so quickly, that I put my main focus into that, and that was going to derail me.
Right. So you had these two things.
And I have to listen to how my body reacts when I'm talking about a trauma, because I'm only one trigger away from a relapse. So I have to handle my triggers well.
It's good that you're aware of that.
I do.
Isn't it?
So I reached out to my friends not long ago. I went to get a shower, couldn't get a shower, no body wash. Phoned the I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Can't deal with life.
It's too much to feel in that.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because it was a lead up of things that just like, it's like the Mento in the bottle of Coke. You know, you've some point.
The build up, like.
And it's always something, you know, people who have been brought up through trauma and traumatic experience, domestic violence. Listen, if it was the end of the world tomorrow, me and you and anyone else who's been through any form of trauma, we would be absolutely like, you do that, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that.
Build that skill set.
But then something stupid comes in, like I can't get a wash. And it's like that, I can't do my 1%, and that is literally just...
I am so dramatic over the littlest things, but really high risk trauma stuff, I'm like, doesn't faze me. I'll go to bed watching like traumatic things.
See, now I don't watch anything horror based, and I don't watch anything suspense based.
I can't watch anything over a 15 because my brain goes, well, that's real. But psychological trauma stuff,
I love real life.
Physical, like hurting someone, I'm all right with that.
Something got put on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and it was a lad in Liverpool, and he was on housing estate, and he just absolutely annihilated his girlfriend, and someone had caught it on like a ring.
I think I know what you mean.
My God.
I didn't watch it. I thought.
Well, I started to watch it, and honestly, that fear never goes away. If there's a raised argument, I go into that, like, you go into the child mode.
Yeah.
As much as like life was fantastic growing up, it was very destructive. It was very walking on eggshells. It was very unpredictable. You adapted, and you adapted quick, and I adapted from a young age.
There was that level of like
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. And there's going to come a point where I'm healed enough to be able to talk about where it started as a child. I came out the womb of trauma.
Do you feel like you come out the womb with PTSD?
I came out the womb full of trauma, and it wasn't just my mum's trauma, it was my mum's trauma and everybody else's trauma.
And did that sit in you psychologically?
I've never felt like I fitted in, ever.
And now, like, I putting that to one side, but now, at, where you are now,
I was born with a gift.
do you now ever want to fit in?
No.
But at that time,
No.
a huge struggle was.
Because to fit in, you have to spread yourself like tracing paper. I'm at a pace now where my life is calmer and it's slower, but I've had to learn absolute brutal lessons in the process to get it to where I am. You don't want to, no one ever wants to hit rock bottom. No one ever wants to hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom more times than I've tried to slit my wrist. It started quite young, getting bullied in school. I've tried to slit my wrist, I've tried to hang myself, I've drove my car into a wall. My mum's had to drive up to the Lake District. I was away on holiday and I just smashed the place up and was trying to kill myself with the kids there and had to come up and get me. It just completely came in and absolutely, at 38 years of age, I had nothing. Nothing. No dignity, nothing left. And it was... I couldn't stop drinking for no one, not even my kids, and I weren't asked about anyone. It was all about me.
Because there was too much for you to feel, you couldn't feel?
No, I just wanted to be loved, and I've always been loved in an unhealthy way. Love always came at a cost. And I have never felt safe, ever. Then now, I feel safe now, but I feel safe now because I'm not allowing anyone in. Because the last two traumas, Christmas, the breakup, and then some other things that have been going on, have made me have to armour up.
So do you feel like you need to be just by yourself in that relationship?
Yeah, because until I unconditionally... The hardest thing anyone can do is learn to love themselves, and you can pretend as much as you want, and there's that saying, isn't it, fake it till you make it.
And are you in the space now of learning to love yourself?
I love myself, even the parts that...
You embrace them now?
I have to embrace them. I have to embrace them. I have to learn to love myself. Not even to learn to love myself, to find a relationship, Because if I have to stay on my own the rest of my life, I'll stay on my own the rest of my life. Because if I'm being totally honest with you, I've got to where I am today by myself.
And what do you want next?
I want to be able to not get triggered.
Okay, and how do you work on that? 'Cause you know everything.
It's working through the pain, it's working through the trauma, it's working through things that upset you, it's blocking people and telling them to fuck off.
Yeah.
That's self-care. That's self-care.
Yeah.
That is self-care.
No,
Yeah. No.
So do you feel like, for anyone who doesn't know anything other than what you've just said, we were talking before about what was that called? Cambo. And we were talking earlier about other things that you've done, like cleansing.
I've just recently taken myself off all my medication, any pharmaceutical drugs, taken myself off everything. I was on antidepressants, ADHD tablets, anti-anxiety tablets, sleeping tablets, diazepam, like you name it, I was on it. Yeah. And the ADHD tablets gave me focus, but the antidepressants made me numb. Right. So I wasn't even celebrating my small wins, because as much as I felt high, you're like, meh.
You weren't like present enough to feel.
So I've taken myself off that, and I take magnesium every day, cod liver oil, B12 tablets, a folic acid because I'm tired all the time and I'm anemic, ashwagandha, I'll probably say this wrong, Dong Q, bladder rack, ashwagandha, and then a microdose, 3 days on, 3 days off.
So do you feel like you're in a space now where you're being your own social prescriber, where you're like, I've gone through that, I can't say I won't go through more, I can't say I won't have triggers, but this is my social prescription that I've given myself and I've got the best knowledge?
Listen, these doctors, and I'm not against them, these doctors, you go in and you tell them something, they pull that book out that drawer.
Yeah.
And then they go to the symptoms and then they go, right, okay, I'll give you this, and it's like...
So you're not a human who's got any complex of...
It's like when you're sitting in the house and you've got a baby and that health visitor comes in and goes, you can't do this, you can't do that, and this is my third baby, by the way. And you go, oh, how many kids have you got?
Yeah,
None.
Sorry. That's exactly why I wanted to do something.
Counsellors
like
shouldn't be allowed to counsel unless they've been through a trauma, and that's a terrible thing to say.
And it's quite shocking that some actually haven't gone through trauma.
I went through something really, really traumatic, and I went for counselling for it. She wasn't interested at all. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk to her, because why would I? How can you talk to someone and tell them your deeper, darker secrets if you've got no rapport with them? That'd be like me sitting here and talking to you about cold water, because I'm a cold water facilitator, and expecting you to know what it all means. Yeah. And that'd be like you explaining something to do with the psychology side of things, which I'm not even touched down on yet, the psychological side of it. I'm still looking at where pain comes from and where I'm holding my trauma as a woman.
Because you're feeling it with all of your senses.
I feel and I've felt it my whole life. When I've said to people, I don't like them, and they've gone, oh, you're just being a bitch. No, it mightn't have happened straight away.
3 months, 6 months, 9 months later.
Yeah. Them butterflies you get in your stomach, they're not butterflies of like, that's your body going, whoa. Yeah.
So it's like your instincts now.
Because I'm sober. I'm sober. There's no pharmaceutical anything inside of me. I surround myself with good, wholesome, independent, motivational, inspirational, people with tenacity. Someone who goes against the grain. Someone who calls... It's not even that. Someone who just tells it how it is. Yeah. People don't want things sugar-coated. Do you know how many times... I have relapsed more times than I've changed my knickers, because I followed people and was like, they'd go missing for a couple of weeks on the social media and come back and they'd be like, But you wouldn't tell no one what went on in them 2 weeks. So then you're looking at that person going... I'm like, I'm like a year and a half sober. You're only 6 months sober. Why are you like that? But I'm still like broken here. So then you think, so I'd always get 4 weeks sober and go, I'm just having a bevy. I'm not getting anywhere here. So I started blocking them people. Yeah. Because that's where you get these people who live. Instagram versus reality. I'm like prime example. When I was married, even when I left my husband, everyone was like, oh my God, she was like the posh and back, she was so amazing, smashing life said in. No, he was absolutely vile.
But it's what people say, isn't it? It's like, I'm not going to live that life just because
But when you're
you
caught
wanted
up,
this
I was a
fantasy.
sheep then, so you want to be part of the Joneses, you want to keep up with
You
everyone.
want to
so
be accepted and admired, don't you? Because it makes you feel like, okay, well, I'm ticking the box for society, so that's what I'll do. But behind closed doors, I'm not living that life to be brutalised for other people to go.
if I had to stay with my ex-husband now, I'd be dead or he'd be dead.
Yeah.
Because I'd have had to fight and I'd have had to kill him for my survival.
Yeah.
And when I started the Freedom Project, they went, you never left, because I was like, I left him. They were like, no, you escaped with your life. And I was like, and they were like, you never left, you escaped. Because I did, I left with 5 bin bags.
So what would you say, right, to finish this podcast, what would you say to somebody who is in front of you now, who has gone through, say, a domestic abuse relationship, let's just take that, and who was very frightened to be overwhelmed by too much information, but needed something whereby it may encourage them to take a little step to get to escaping and get to freedom?
It's a weird one, that, because when you're in that relationship, whether you've got children or not, you don't see it happening. And it's kind of like where the drinking was with me. You won't stop until you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So on the 11th of November in 2022, I woke up with I hadn't even woke up, I hadn't even been to bed, with absolutely rough as toast, and I was just like, I am sick and tired of feeling like this. I'd missed my probation from driving my car into the wall. I'd escaped jail because I blew 111. I'd been fighting a couple of years before with someone, and I was drinking then, and it was like, the only thing that stopped me from going to jail was the fact that my sister thought and was like, this is my sister, she's been crying out, she's been let down by service after service after service. She drove the car on the wall, she didn't want to be here. And I got probation, and I kept missing probation because it was Monday. Monday's following what? The weekend. I'm gone Friday. I'm not home till Sunday night. I'm not getting up on Monday. I'm making my way with no car to the middle of nowhere to the women's organisation to go to my probation. And I'd missed it. And my probation lady messaged me and was like, I'm going to have to report, if you don't turn up to the next one, you're going back to court. And I'm like, I'm going to go to jail, basically. And I was like, this is the end. And it was exactly the same thing in the domestic violence. Any of my relationships, because not all of them, but 99% of the relationships have been domestic violence or abusive, or, somewhere coercive, something along them lines. You won't go until you're ready to go. But what I will say to people is reach out, find a safe space, find someone who you can confide in. A problem shared is a problem halved.